Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Come on in. Come on in. I hope you all are having a great day. Bless you. It is so good to see you. Welcome to Money in the Morning. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is our daily financial consciousness training. We do this every single morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And so, if you want to be invited and be on the text list, just text the word morning to the number 87948. Text morning to 87948. How's everybody doing today? I hope you all are doing well. My wife and I got up this morning. I'm very proud to say that I did make the 5 a.m. club today. I actually got up super early and we went to the gym and she goes to that crazy boot camp where these white people yell at her and tell her what to do. I don't do that. I don't like that. So what I do is I drop her off and I go to the gym and I lift weights and run and all that stuff. And just as a little tip, since we know the health is wealth, I read somewhere that as you get older, over 40, what you really want to do is keep your muscle mass big, strong. If your muscle mass is there, they say that muscle mass helps you to lose weight. It also helps keep you young as you get older. It'll help you kind of deal with the effects of aging. So just a little tip for anybody that cares about this kind of thing. You got to take care of your body. If you take care of your wealth and don't take care of your body, then you're going to lose all your wealth because those doctors are not free. Those doctors are very expensive. So today I want to actually dive into one element of financial consciousness, just sharing something that was on my mind today. This morning, my wife and I had a. Well, first of all, did y'all watch the debate last night? Any of you watched the presidential debate? How many of you saw that? Give me a yes if you watched the debate. I watched it, but honestly, I'm a little bit of a cynic when it comes to politics. I believe that our solutions as a community are not going to come from the politicians. I believe they're going to come from us, and so ultimately, you are your own greatest black leader. In fact, that's the theme of our All Black National Convention, where we bring together the smartest black people in the world to solve problems specifically for the black community. So, if you're not specifically interested in specifically helping the specific issues in our specific community, then the convention is not for you. Don't come because we're going to probably disappoint you. But if that is your thing, then that might be the place that you would enjoy being because it's a lot of other great people there that really want to solve problems. We meet in Chicago, on Lombard, which is a suburb of Chicago, October 25th to the 27th. If you'd like to learn more, just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. But anyway, so here's what I wanted to talk about. And I want to talk about Donald Trump, not so much the debate, but really the stock price. If you know, how many of y'all know about his company, DJT, Donald Trump Technologies? I think that's what it is. Um, and so basically, what I want to discuss is how Trump's stock price plummeted today. I'm going to pull this up on the screen and I'm going to kind of talk through the dynamics. I thought it'd be an interesting way to kind of tie in what we're all thinking about with stock prices and how they work. Because remember, the goal here is financial consciousness. And I think everyone in our community should be invested in the stock market. If you ever want to be wealthy, you must be in the stock market. 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 Did I say you have to be in the stock market? I can't remember. Did I say that? Because you must be in the stock market. And I'm saying this not as a financial influencer. I'm a financial scientist. I was on the faculty at Syracuse for 13 years, and all I did was pour through tons and tons of research. All I did all day long was go through, you know, stock prices and analysis of stocks and companies and literally, no, like 120 years of data, like billions of gigabytes, just all kind, like just so much stuff. All it was data, 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 test, data, 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 test. That was all it was. That was my whole life, running tests. And I would just write computer programs and test data to see what was driving wealth, what was driving investing, what was driving stock market performance. And I can just tell you, and I hope you'll tell you everybody that um, you know, if you're not in the stock market, it's almost impossible in America to get wealthy. Well, the wealth in America is mostly tied up in the stock market, which is why the majority of wealthy people own stock. Also, I think they said something like I saw something somewhere that said something like the top 10% of Americans own 90% of the stocks. So they've been accumulating these stocks. They've been buying these things. And it's easy to do. You know, if you're scared and you don't know how to get started, I do have a stock market investing class. I've shared that link with you guys, but also you can go to blackwealthmasterplan.com. Black Wealth Master Plan, that's a plan. You know, Kamala gave her plan. Trump kind of gave a plan last night. Well, I'm here to give you a plan. My plan is not for America. My plan is for the Black community. America can get its plan from its president. I'm not trying to be the president of Black people, but maybe I can be an economic advisor. And one thing I will tell you with complete certainty is that you got to get your family in the stock market. You got to get your children invested in stock. That must be a consistent thing that you do. You have to do it consistently and in the right way. And that will make a big difference when it comes to your wealth. All right. So, anyway, so after the debate, basically Trump's stock price plummeted. And I'm not surprised. I woke up this morning, I said, well, let me see how Donald J. Trump's stock is doing. Let me see, I'm willing to bet you. And I told my wife, I said, I bet you that his stock price got its ass kicked today because he didn't perform well in the debate. I don't care what you Democrat or Republican. The Democrats were cheering. They're excited because they felt like Kamala did a great job, as they should. They congratulations on that side. The Republicans were trying to defend their guy. Just they were kind of feeling probably the way the Democrats felt after Joe Biden uh, went up there and embarrassed himself. And if you want my personal little theory, my wife and I did a whole Pillow Talk podcast about it today, where I kind of gave my assessment as a person who I watch these things for entertainment. I'm telling you, I just don't get caught up in the Democrat Republican thing. I know that they may disappoint some people, but I don't care. It's like watching the Cowboys against the Eagles. Like I can watch the game and tell you why I think the Eagles might have won, or vice versa, because Cowboys don't usually win nothing. They blow it in the playoffs every year. But anyway, with this debate, I told my wife, I said, I get it now. Kamala prepared. That's it. She prepared. She was a prosecutor. And anybody who knows anything about the law, if you know any good lawyers or especially prosecutors, you'll know that good lawyers, they have to prepare for court. They go through every detail. They get ready. Trump is not a guy that you see as a big preparer. I could see him sitting there talking to his advisors and them saying, "Well, you need to do this, need to do that," and I could see him saying, "Oh, I don't need to do that, or I'm not going to do this." I could see him ignoring his advisors, right? Whereas Kamala, I could see her really prepared. I said, "Oh, she's nailing it," and then also prosecutors, another thing prosecutors are really good at is getting you on the defensive. Because think about it, when you go to court, you have the prosecution and then you have the what? The prosecution and the defense, right? So I could see her, using her the prosecutor skills, and saying, I can get you to be defensive. And here's the thing: it's hard to score points on defense. It's very hard to score points on defense. You score points on offense, and at the very least, if you block, you got a counterpunch. And he just didn't do that. I think she got him to be really defensive. It worked really well. I told you guys I played competitive poker for fun. And one of the big rules of poker is you keep your opponent on the defensive. If you get on the defensive, then you need to back out and just not participate anymore, or do a counterpunch and put him on the defensive or her on the defensive. You don't, so you know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. So in poker, you really don't want to be on the defensive all the time. And I said, "Ooh, she's got him really, really like backpedaling right now. She's knocking this guy out." So long story short, that's if you want my quick assessment on the debate, that's what I saw, and again, some of you, are happy, some of you are not, some of you don't care. However you feel, I'm happy for whatever you feel. I support that, okay? Because I'm not into the politics and all that. But one thing that was interesting from a financial standpoint is I was watching to see how Trump's stock price was going to do after the debate, and I said, "Huh, I bet you this stock price got hammered," and I'm gonna tell you why. First off, this company, DJT, let me pull it up on my screen. This will be today will be a stock lesson. We're going to learn about stock a little bit today and why DJT is not a good stock to purchase. But I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because I own 100 shares of the stock, and I'll tell you why at the end in a minute. But anyway, so here is Donald J. Trump Media and Technology Group. It was founded in 2021, and I personally believe it was driven politically. Here's the year-to-date performance of the stock. It's down by about 9.5%. It should be down by much more. This is what it's done over the last year. It's kind of flat out here, because again, it's a young company. So if you go back 5 years, well, actually, maybe okay. It looks like it was a special purpose acquisition company, and that's I got to double check that, but that's where they start the company and they start raising the money so that when they find a company that they want to take public, they can do that. So I think that that might be the case with this company. Maybe it's a spec, or maybe I'm wrong. Actually, I'm looking at this now. Okay, I see. Sorry, guys. I was trying to figure out what was going on here because I thought that the company's dynamics would only go back about until 2021, and they do. If you look here, October 1st, 2021 is when the company got started. You see the stock price shot up to $94. Now it's down to 15. So that's a major drop. And today it's down even more. It's down 14% in a day. That's a big, big, big drop. And it's down by about 6% the last week, and it's down 36% the last month. Let me tell you why I believe that this stock has been dropping. Well, it's been dropping because the stock in Donald Trump has been dropping. When I look at the assessments of who the next president's going to be, and I like to look at it more so to understand where to invest. Most of the assessments are telling me that the Democrats made a good move by getting Joe Biden out of the way and dropping Kamala in, and they've really done a good job of branding her as kind of the fresh, youthful alternative to the grumpy old man. That's what they've done a great job of. She's gotten all the attention. She's been raising the money, so she's been winning. And there's one guy I saw who has accurately predicted the last 15 elections or something, and he said, yeah, the Democrats are going to win this one. He has a whole model. He's a professor, right? So anyway, so this drop in the stock price, in my opinion, is deeply connected to the drop in interest in Donald Trump, the drop in his support. Because there was a time, like I remember after the assassination, I don't remember exact date it was, but I wonder if it was around this date right here, because you see there's a little bit of a jump in the stock price from 30 to 40. And so he was very popular at one time, and now he's not as popular as he was before. So that's the first assessment. Now, the second reason I'll tell you why the stock is just not a great company to invest in is because if you look at the company from just an earnings standpoint, like if you say, okay, does this company make money? It makes a ridiculously small amount of money its market cap. The total market cap of this company is about $3 billion right now, and that's after the slump. It's been as high as $6 billion. I think Trump maybe owns like 30-40% or something like that. So he's got a couple $1 billion of his net worth tied in this company. But if you look at the company's revenue, a company that's worth $3-4 billion should be making, some decent amount of money, at least say 100 million a year or something like that. This company made 3.4 million in the last 12 months, just $3 million, 3.4 million in revenue. That's insanely low. Just to sort of give you a perspective, I don't talk about this much, but the black business schools made more than that in a year on multiple occasions, right? So that number was like, wow, this is very surprising to be. And just so you know, we run this company as a business, because we want this to be something that's strong for the community. We don't take money from corporations. We don't take money from the government. We don't take money from Democrats or Republicans. But we really had to think carefully about our business model, and our model is really simple. In the Black Business School, we said we want to create a high quality, low cost, culturally relevant alternative to an overpriced college education. A lot of you all went to college and you're maybe $50,000, $100,000 in debt. And you not only are you deep in this debt, but you don't even feel like you got your money's worth. The universities just kind of teach you these classes, and they don't necessarily fit what we're actually trying to accomplish as Black people in this world. Some of you may have even gone to schools where you dealt with racism, like I did. And I said, isn't that interesting that we'll go spend, a couple $100,000 to be mistreated and to be miseducated, and to get a degree that isn't giving us what we're looking for. And then the worst part is that you can't turn around and say, well, I'd like a refund. I want my money back. Like, the universities aren't offering that. So we actually have full refunds on, our agreement with you is that if you don't feel like we're giving you at least twice as much as what you paid for, then we don't want your money. So we actually have a whole team there. And I told them, I said, we do hassle-free refunds. First 30 days, you try stuff out. If you don't like it, you let us know. We'll give you your money back because we don't want you to invest in us unless you feel like we've adequately invested in you. So that was our business model. That was the thinking behind the creation of the Black Business School. We were 100% clear. We believe in what we call the Black Core of Three. The Black Core of Three is that we believe that Black people should be educating our own children, creating our own jobs, and supporting Black-owned businesses. We have to educate our own kids because the public schools are destroying them. There are dozens and dozens of schools in Chicago, dozens of schools in Baltimore, dozens of schools around the country that don't have a single Black child that can actually read, write, or do math at grade level. I think that's atrocious. I think that's a destruction of our community. I think that that's done deliberately and intentionally in this sense. And money drives all this because the people that are making money by bringing Black kids into their schools, they get money from the government for this, right? Per head, you get money per child. There's no incentive there to make sure that those children actually get an education. There's nobody saying, hey, your school has been failing. We're going to take away all your money. We're going to give it to Black educators who understand how to educate Black children. They block out the Black educators. They block out the Black administrators. They block out the Black business people, and they allow white people to make the money, miseducating and leaving Black children uneducated. That is appalling. That's absolutely atrocious because I guarantee you that if you took 1/10 of the money that they put into failing schools where the Black children are not being educated. If you took 1/10 of that money and gave that to the best Black educators in the country, they would have that school on 10. It would be on and popping. Those kids would be at the top of the class. They'd be making straight A's. There have been so many examples of great educators like the Marva Collinses of the world who literally, with minimal resources, because they don't want to support Black education, they don't believe in that kind of thing. They who have literally taken the worst children in the worst schools who are having the worst experience and made them top-notch scholars. This has happened. Tell me if you've seen that. This has happened on many occasions. This is not rare. And so the idea that they won't even consider funding that, but they'll say, "Oh, well, we'll give money to a mediocre school with white educators where 90% of the Black kids can't read. We'll keep funding that. We'll keep funding Black failure, but we have no interest in investing in Black success." This is what I see in America. This is what bothers me. This is what drove me when I left Syracuse University to say, let's create our own university. Let's do this. I'm leaving 75% of my wealth. My estate plan is being restructured again right now. I restructure it every year or so. And I said, I want 75% of my wealth to go to the Black Business School. I want it to go to the board members, so we can continue the vision and keep the mission going. And I want us to be I want us to be the Harvard for the Black community. We're better than Harvard at what we do. Harvard does not do Black wealth as well as we do. So long story short, I think that it's a problem. It's a crisis. I don't know what it takes to get people to kind of wake up to this. I want people to make the connection between all of the chaos you see in the street. Another rapper died the other day of a drug overdose, but there's millions of young men like him out here. There are millions of young men that copy that same behavior, that same culture. So that he's the one you heard about. For every one you hear about, there's 1,000 you didn't hear about. There's 1,000 rich homie Quans. That's his name. There's 1,000 rich homie Quans who are dying right now, who could have been great, who could have done amazing things, who could have lived long lives. And remember, when a young Black man dies, you're not just losing one person. You're not just losing one young Black. You're not losing one guy. You're losing a person that would have been the head of a household. Rich Homie Quan could have been somebody's grandfather one day. He could have had, a family portrait in the year 2050 with 80 of his grandkids and kids and grandkids like all together for Thanksgiving dinner, but none of that exists because they've infected our community with really horrible culture, a terrible educational system, and it's significant just significant catalyst to misguide our young Black men. I'm not a fan of that, and our women too. We know what's going on with our girls. So long story short, we got to get on track. And Democrat Republican stuff ain't gonna do it. It's just not. It never has. It never will. In fact, a lot of these failing schools are run by Democrats. So stop telling me that voting for the Democrats is going to fix it. We've been doing that. That does not work. And don't try to tell me that voting for a Republican is going to do it either, because I know that doesn't work too. So anyway, let me go back to this whole thing with Donald Trump and everything. And by the way, if you want to get started with stock market investing, you're not sure what to do, don't be scared. Just go to blackwealthmasterplan.com. That's where you can get started with the $5 a day plan. It's so easy that a 5-year-old could do it. All I ask you to do is do it consistently and don't sell your assets. When you own something, you're supposed to keep owning it. You're not supposed to sell it so you can go buy you a car. That's not what ownership is about. Ownership is power and control. Ownership is financial security. Ownership is economic peace. Ownership is your economic protection. Do you understand? So the website, Ramon, it's blackwealthmasterplan.com. You can go to either blackwealthmasterplan.com. Another place you can go is if you want to do we have that $7 trial for the Black Business School, where you can get access to some mini classes for just $7 a month. So feel free to go to b1accesspass.com. That's b1accesspass.com. Somebody type that in for me if you could. All right, so let me finish. Let's dig back into the Trump stock. Okay, so with Trump stock, yeah, the market cap is about $3 billion now. That's actually dropped a little bit. The company's revenue is horrifically low. It's only 3.4 million, which is insane for a $3 billion company. Um, they did have pretty good revenue growth, so sometimes a high growth rate can push a stock price up. But I don't think that that's sustainable for him. I do think that if he had become president, he would have probably because I believe politics is fundamentally corrupt. I don't care to be naive and to believe that either Democrats or Republicans are these wonderful angels who never break the law. I think they all do. I do. Or do unethical things. Like you saw Dr. Cornel West, he came on my YouTube channel this week, and he and his vice president, Melina Abdullah, accused the Democrats of suing them every time they would get on the ballot somewhere. They would sue them to exhaust their resources. They would keep them in court so that they couldn't actually run for office. And then, on the Republican side, I've watched how Donald Trump has done business for a long time, and he's never. I mean, the guy, he does a lot of stuff where instinctually I can see where the corruption would exist. Like, not, and I'm not talking about just the fact that he was on trial and all that. You can debate that part. I'm talking about just the fact that, generally speaking, to do business in the field of boxing, there's a very high likelihood that that somehow the mafia is in there somewhere, especially when you go back to the 70s and 80s, or to do construction in New York City, which Trump did a lot of construction in New York City. At that time, you really couldn't do major construction projects without engaging the mafia. And it wouldn't necessarily be because you're trying to become a mob boss. It would be because they controlled everything. They would shut down your construction site. They would tell all the workers not to come to work that day. Just crazy stuff. Now hopefully some of that changed, but yeah, so it's just kind of a dirty game to some extent. And the fact that he was friends with, guys like Don King. And also, if you go do some research on Al Sharpton's mob connections, you would see that there's something there. He was on camera. He was doing a drug deal on camera. It was on HBO. Brian Gumble, I think, was talking about it or something. Yeah, just look it up. All that's out there. I don't want to get into all that stuff, but it's just kind of messy, right? And the corruption to me says that if you look at the amount of money Trump's children all made while he was in office, it was a ridiculous amount of money. So what I really see is that there is a privilege that comes with that power. And none of it offends me that much because I kind of expect that powerful people are going to help each other out. Hopefully it doesn't break the law, but I think that the system is so jacked up. The system is so tainted and polluted by money that you can't get away from it. You can't. Do you think? I mean, think about the whole pandemic was for the most part it was a big money grab. I mean, sure, health was important, and you had a real virus in there for sure, but these pharmaceutical companies made an insane amount. They probably made $1 trillion from that pandemic. You know that, right? My wife and I own Moderna stock. That stock like shot up like a freaking rocket because they were making so much money. So what I'm here to say to you is I'm not here to judge how you feel about the corruption. I'm here to tell you how to position your family so that you benefit from whatever nonsense they're doing up on Capitol Hill. And by being a stock market participant, you will benefit also. Instead of being mad about it, instead of sitting back saying, man, these people, they dirty, they corrupt, they stealing, da da da. Okay, yeah, the financial game is a dirty one. It's a complex one, but maybe that's why I'm here. That's what I'm here for. I'm here because I understand money better than a man knows his ex-wife. I understand capitalism very well, even though I'm not a capitalist. I'm a professor of this stuff. This is what I do. So maybe us talking and me sharing with you can help you to kind of say, okay, you know what? It is what it is. Let me make sure me and my family are positioned so we can solve a problem instead of doing the old Negro tradition of sitting around and crying about it and whining about it and praying to Jesus and thinking that white people are going to fix it or that they're going to do the right thing. I don't believe that they will. I'm a cynic in that regard. I'm sorry. I don't know how people feel about me talking this way, but I don't believe that there's ever been a white man that's going to show up, knock on my door, and make sure my kids are fed. I just haven't seen any of this. So if you're white, I'm sorry if that language offends you, but go check your history books. You'll find that I'm probably somewhat correct on this. With that said, um, with Trump stock, let's go back to Trump stock. I'm going to give you some more details on it to explain exactly why I don't think it's a great investment. The enterprise value, yeah, 3.28 million. They and the analysts basically had these opinions on Trump stock. They felt that consistent with what I've said to you, that they here I'm going to read something here. It says the stock has seen short-term gains fueled by political momentum, especially as Donald Trump campaigns with the election. However, many analysts caution that this growth is driven by hype and could be unsustainable. So when he got the assassination attempt, shot the stock price up. As he's running for president, the stock price is up. If he doesn't win and he kind of fades into the background, chances are that stock price is going to drop. Those are not good dynamics for a stock, though. You shouldn't have a stock that's driven by people's enthusiasm and love for one person, because one person, they can die, they can be killed, they could be arrested. Man, all these things are like I don't know, all these things could affect Trump at some point. Hopefully not. I mean, I don't wish that on anybody. But same thing with Elon Musk. Elon Musk has a lot of what they call key man risk. And key man risk is basically like what happens if the key man slips in the shower and dies. So a stock like that is extremely risky for those reasons. Also, a lot of experts believe that his stock was one of the meme stocks. That meme stocks are stocks that get significantly overvalued for no reason at all, just because people decide that stock should be worth more than what it actually is, and they push the price up to extraordinary levels. Meme stock phenomena, they tend to disappear. Also, there's a legal and regulatory risk. Ongoing investigations by the SEC, including insider trading charges and merger delays, add to the uncertainty. These legal challenges make Donald Trump stock a risky investment, especially as it depends heavily on Trump's political and business fortunes. So the legal and regulatory risk is basically that risk that at some point one of these charges will stick. And next thing you know, your CEO's in jail. It's hard to run a company from jail. Just ask Suge Knight, Death Row Records and stuff like that. So that's the assessment there. Now here's a way to kind of go full circle with that. So number one, I mentioned earlier on many occasions, and I say it all the time because I need you to hear this. Participating in the stock market is critical. If you want to get out of poverty, if you want to elevate from middle class to upper class, the stock market is shown statistically to be the best way to do that. And the number one ingredient you need, just like when I was little, we used to make Kool-Aid and we put a pound of sugar in it because we were little kids and sugar was nice. We didn't know that it would eventually kill you. We would then add one final ingredient, and that would be the water. You had to put plenty of water in your Kool-Aid, or you wouldn't have any Kool-Aid. Well, if you want to make money flavored Kool-Aid with stock, then the big ingredient that you need is time. It's time. If you invest in a portfolio and you give it plenty of time and you're consistently growing it over time and you're using time as your asset, then that thing will naturally grow just like a tree grows in your backyard. You can't grow a tree in 2 weeks, no matter how good the seeds are, no matter how much water you pour on the seed, it's not going to grow in 2 weeks. But if you give it time, it's going to grow. But if you don't plant the seed and you don't water, you don't keep the seed alive, then it's going to die. So with investing, time is critical. It's very hard to make fast money. It's almost impossible for me to tell you how to make fast money. It's very easy for me to tell you how to make slow money. You plant the seed, you water the seed and keep it alive. You let the seed grow. You invest the money, you keep investing over time. You allow time to pass, your money will grow. It's just like running a garden. So what I want you to really think about is, what does my financial garden look like? And I want you to look at a couple of different variables, three different things I want you to look at. Okay, you ready? Write this down if you have an ink pen. Number one, am I planting seeds? If you're planting seeds, and you're going to be wealthy. People who plant seeds have a harvest. If you plant no seeds, there will be no harvest. And this is the interesting thing. So when people tell me I don't have any money, I'm broke, I'm struggling, well, I say, well, what seeds did you plant? You're asking for a harvest. Did you plant any seeds last fall? And it's like, no. Well, why would you expect to have a harvest when you planted nothing? So number one, plant seeds. Number two, you got to keep your seeds alive. Water your seeds. right? You got to feed them. You must feed them. Just like you give birth to a baby, you got to keep feeding the baby, keep the baby alive. If you don't feed the baby for a couple of weeks, the baby's going to die. Fortunately, money isn't quite the same way, but it's similar. Sometimes we'll plant a seed, we'll buy one share of stock, and then we'll stop investing. And that's fine. You're going to get a little bit of growth out of that. But what you really want to do is buy one share, another 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 share. And if you do that over a 10, 20-year period, you cannot be poor. It is impossible for a person who consistently invests a certain amount of money in the market over, say, a 10, 20-year period and still be poor. It's impossible. It's impossible unless you're just spending like crazy and going deep in debt or something. You're going to build wealth from that. So that's the second piece. You got to grow the seed, and then the last thing is you got to let time do what it does. Got to give it time. Most major wealth in America was not built overnight. Most major wealth in America was built through time. And so when you ask me what's happening in the Black community, what are we wasting the most? And people will point to money that we waste, which is important. Yeah, we spend money on stuff that we shouldn't spend money on. But I say no, the biggest thing we're wasting actually as a community is time. We're wasting time. If you have a newborn baby, you have 18 years to get that baby ready for the world. What are you doing with that time? What are you doing? Okay, you're feeding them every day, you're sending them to school, good, but you should be investing for that child. If you invest for that child consistently, you and grandma and whoever, and you're just pouring into the baby and getting the baby ready educationally and also getting them ready financially, that baby will not fail. That baby will be in a great position to be successful. By the time that baby's 20 years old, 25 years old, they have hundreds of thousands of dollars in financial protection, financial safety, financial security that will protect them in a very racist, very difficult, very competitive, very ugly world. In this world, you got inflation, you have job insecurity, you have economic stress out the butt. You have so many people that are really struggling to deal with, to grapple with the trappings of a capitalist society. And most of the time, it's because they're just not prepared. You just kick them out of the house at 18, ain't got nothing, ain't got two nickels in their pocket. Well, and you wonder why your daughter started an OnlyFans. You wonder why your son is out here getting locked up trying to go rob people to get money because he doesn't know. Nobody ever taught him how to make money, and nobody ever gave him anything. The time was wasted. You wasted time. So when our kids are struggling, it's our fault, really. It really is our fault. Like if you look at our generation and the kids I complain about, because I complain all the time and it makes me mad when I see young people doing crazy stuff. You got to look at us. But then also maybe when we screwed up, we could look at our parents, right? So it's up to this generation to take care of the next one, and it's up to that generation to take care of the one after that. And if you do that, if you have that principle and you are pouring into your things, investing in your assets, meaning your people, that's your number one asset, then they're going to be just fine. Most things that get in consistent investment do not fail. Things you do not invest in are definitely going to fail. Why would something succeed if you haven't even fed it, nourished it, grown it, made it strong? It's weak. It's going to flop. It's going to fail. It's going to struggle. So a lot of our young people struggle because nobody ever invested in our kids. And I can tell you also, as a Black man, I will say that the biggest liability we have is that somehow nobody taught us economic maturity. We never taught ourselves economic maturity. Economic maturity is when a community understands that the number one job for investing in that community belongs to the people that are in that community. I understand reparations. I'm all for that. I agree with that. But when you talk about investing in us, ain't nobody going to invest in us like us. It's nobody else's responsibility really to invest in us if we're not investing in ourselves. And so really, I would say that mindset is everything when it comes to wealth and money. People who have a certain degree of self-determination tend to be very, very successful. And also just personal and collective accountability really goes a long way. So that's my 2 cents on that. I hope that that helps some of us to shape a process of this. Now, before I head out today, what I want to do is don't forget, I want to remind everybody that if you are into problem solving, we are going to meet for the All Black National Convention, October 25th through the 27th. And so you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. It's going to be in Lombard, Illinois, right outside Chicago. Brother Nuri Muhammad, who's speaking at the convention, he's actually coming into class tomorrow. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Brother Nuri is one of the greatest Black leaders on this whole freaking planet. He's an amazing man. He's a great guy, and he's going to really elevate our consciousness when it comes to our economics. That's I'm going to specifically talk to him about that. And it's an honor that he's going to come hang out with us tomorrow. If you want to be invited to the private Zoom with Brother Nuri, make sure you get on the text list. To be on the text list for this class, you can text the word morning to the number 87948. That's morning to 87948. Or you can also go to b1moneytips.com. I think that's the URL the team put together, b1moneytips.com. And that's it, guys. So last but not least, also, I mentioned that Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth, we're going to put some in the bookstore. So if you want to go to the bookstore and take a look at some of my books and my wife's books and our flashcards for kids, stuff like that, you can go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. Have a great day. Thank you guys for hanging out. And remember, get started investing. Don't be scared. Don't let fear stop you. Go to blackwealthmasterplan.com. The $5 a day plan is there. It's free. You can jump in. And all I want you to do is pick stocks from the S&P 500 if you're nervous. Just pick stocks in that big category. Don't go after these little obscure companies. Pick those big, strong companies and do it consistently. If you do that, and also be assertive. Be assertive. Maybe whatever amount you spend on your car note, try to see if you can invest that same amount in yourself every month. You are more important than the car dealer. Your future is more important than the future of the cell phone company. Your children are more important than whatever other bills you're paying. So to me, a great principle of Black wealth would be that I'm gonna make my future and my children's future as important as any bill that I pay. Right? So that means if I'm paying this much for my car, I don't feel bad about it. I can spend $600 a month on a car note if I want to. That's my right to do that. But I'm also going to put $600 a month in my stock portfolio because I matter. You matter. We matter. Our kids matter. So, and if we don't believe that, then nobody else will care. I don't care what white folks are doing, to be honest with you. I only care about what we're doing because I believe that if we do what we have to do, if we focus the way we need to focus, and if we get it together the way I know we're going to get it together and keep doing what some of y'all are already doing, we're going to win. We're going to freaking win. So I'm not scared. I don't get scared when people tell me about Project 2025. I don't give a damn. I talk about Project 2070 that we created, which is where we're going to make sure B1 people are, by the year 2070, are going to be the most financially intelligent, financially capable group of people on the planet. You're going to be well past where the Jewish community is. And I know that we can do this. Now, $5 a day, $50 a week, the number doesn't matter. It's about the consistency. I call it the $5 a day plan because I just wanted to pick a number that was easy and simple and catchy because I had too many people coming to me, lying to me, telling me that black people don't have any money to invest. And I said, if black people had no money to invest, that would mean we had no money to do anything. And everybody knows that we got money to buy cars, we got money to buy sneakers, we got money to go to Beyonce concerts, we got money for whatever we want, but I also need us to have money for whatever we need. See, that's the problem. That's an economic immaturity issue. And I talk about this in my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, is that economic immaturity is where you afford all the things you want, but then you go beg for the things you need. So you can afford to go buy the toys and the candy and the nonsense and the goofy stuff, but then when it comes to the stuff you need, like investing for your family or buying books for your children, it's like, oh, we can't afford it. $50, that's too much money, but you spent $200 going to see Beyonce. I don't understand that. Or you tell me that $80 is too much for your child's after school program, but I know you a black woman, you gonna spend big money getting your hair done. Am I lying? I know women that literally will take every nickel out of their pocket, like spend their last nickel to make sure that their hair looks good. And I know that ain't cheap. I got a wife with hair, and every time she goes to get her hair done, I'm like, holy crap! I'm glad I'm bald. So my point is to say that it's okay to get your hair done. It's okay to get the nice car. It's okay to go see Beyonce. She can sing. She's great. Good for Beyonce. But I want you to just love yourself and to understand that when you're spending, when you're giving money away like that, you have to have some sort of economic engine that will sustain that. That's the thing. If the more you invest, the more you can spend. I know people that have been investing for years, and they're not cheap when they enjoy their money. My wife and I are not cheap. This morning she put on her robe for this hotel called the Langham. Has anybody ever seen the Langham Hotel? Let me just tell you, it's like super fancy and super expensive. The Langham is not for broke people. And but my wife, every time we travel, well, Alicia's like, I hope they have a Langham here. We got to stay at the Langham, but we got to do the Langham. I'm like, the Hyatt, the Hilton ain't good enough. No, no, boys, I want the Langham. So don't feel bad about enjoying your money. When you work hard, you deserve to play hard. When you build, you deserve the right to enjoy your life, have those experiences, live it up. You are a king, you are a queen. Treat yourself accordingly. That's what you. I'm okay. I believe in that completely. Just do the work. Make the sacrifices necessary for you to have the kind of resources that you need to be able to do these things without putting yourself in a horrible, horrible financial position. It's as simple as like eating chocolate cake. Eating chocolate cake, if all you do is eat chocolate cake, then you will be obese, you will get diabetes, and you'll probably die. But chocolate cake is not the culprit. There are plenty of healthy people who eat chocolate cake. The question is, did you eat your vegetables before you ate the chocolate cake? The question is that after you ate the cake, did you spend a little time on the treadmill so you can earn the right to go eat another piece of chocolate cake? Do you understand? It's about balance. That's all it is. So don't think that I've never been a person that's believed in creating an economic torture chamber. I'm never a person who thinks I should run up to you and slap that Starbucks coffee out of your hand and say, "What are you doing ordering two cheeseburgers when you should have got one?" Or why are you going on vacation again? I'm not that person. Or how are you going to drive a Mercedes? You could have got you a Toyota. No, I want you in the Mercedes. I really want you there. But I just need you to understand we got to handle our business first. Every black person on the entire planet who cares about themselves and cares about their family has to be an investor. In fact, you're already an investor. You just got to start investing with money. You're already investing with love and with time and with everything else. Also, remember this too. You're investing heavily in building white businesses. White owned businesses could not exist without black people. The NFL couldn't exist without black people. 70% of the players are black. So we're already pouring into institutions. We're already pouring into wealth. We're just pouring into the wealth of other people. We're building for other people. So financial consciousness, let's end on this point. One aspect of consciousness is not just doing something because I was told to do it. It's understanding why I'm doing it and who I'm doing it for. Do you understand? An unconscious person is just going to do what they told. That's what they want. That's how they raise you. That's what it means to be black in the public school system. They're preparing you to get a black job and to do black things where you're going to just do what you're told and other people can benefit from you. But I don't want people that just think that way. I want conscious black people, and conscious black people are the ones who say, "Well, I hear what you're telling me to do, but why am I doing it and who benefits? Who wins on the back end?" And I want you to pay attention. Every time there's a big election, that's the big debate. Like you're telling me to vote, but you're not telling me why I should vote or who I should vote for. You want me on level one, and I need to be up here on level three or level four. My head needs to be on a swivel because y'all been pulling the rope a dope on us. Y'all been hitting us with the banana in the tailpipe. We've been hoodwinked and bamboozled for hundreds of years. I don't want. I'm not playing that game with you. So it's not that I don't want to do what you're asking me to do. I just need to understand why are we doing it and who are we doing it for? You're telling me to get in the car, but if I get in the car, a smart person doesn't just get in the car. A smart person says, "Well, who's driving and where are we going and why are we going there instead of over here?" I don't understand that, and that's what ultimately, fundamentally, will make you into a troublemaker. That's what you are. I've been a troublemaker my whole life. Join the club. My whole life since I was a kid, I've always questioned everything, and it caused me problems from even before I started going to public school. When I was in the house, my mother used to say, she used to say, your mouth will either make you great or get you killed. So my mother was the first person who became frustrated with the fact that I would ask questions. And then the public school, they didn't know what to do with me. They hated me, right? But I'm glad to have that consciousness because if you look at all the scenarios, going back to the Tuskegee syphilis experiment and many others, if you look at all the scenarios where we just did what we were told and just followed the rules because we don't want to cause no trouble, look at what happens. Look at how we get screwed. So I'm not judging the decision you make. I'm not saying that you should make one decision over the other. All I'm saying is I need you to make the decision and know why you made the damn decision. Right? So think about what you do. It's why you do it and who you're doing it for. If you think that way, if you think to the end of the line, then what you'll find is you'll find that your energy is much more efficient. Your economic energy is much more efficiently used because you say, okay, I'm spending this money here because the beneficiary is there. I'm spending money here because my cousin's going to benefit. I'm spending money over here because I'm going to benefit. I'm spending money here because my descendants are going to benefit. You're bringing it back home. Your money becomes a boomerang and not a slingshot. Right? You're not throwing a frisbee into the universe. You take your money. We throw our money out like frisbees, like you get money, you get money, you get money. We're giving all this money away, and then we turn around and say, "I do had no money. We black people, we don't have no money." What? What? How you think you're gonna have money if you keep giving it away? That's the number one rule of finance: is that if you want to get rich, you don't give all your money away. How about that for a finance class? Start there. That's what wealthy people make sure they're bringing in more than they're giving out, and the black community does not do that. We're not, and it's not your fault. It's your programming. You were trained to do that. You were trained to give to everybody else, but give nothing to yourself. And then when someone says, "Well, how about black people give something to black people?" Oh, you sound racist, or you're a dangerous black man. Oh, I understand why I'm dangerous to you because I'm taking things away from you. You feel entitled to what I have. You think you own me. You think you own my wallet. You think you own my vote. You think you own my children, but you're not getting any of those things because they're here for the family first. So put yourself first. That's all I'm saying. Put yourself first, put your family first, put your community first. There's nothing controversial, crazy about that message. There's nothing about that you can disagree with. And then at that point, if you want to serve and support other people, I think that that's perfectly fine. It just has to be a reciprocal relationship. And right now, it's not reciprocal. We support white businesses; they don't support black businesses. We go work for them; they don't want to come work for us. Right? We show up and we vote for them; they don't feel the need to come back and give us anything in exchange for that. Well, that's a problem. That's why. So again, it goes back to that basic idea. Anything that is not invested in is going to be depleted. Just like a child that's not fed is going to be a malnourished, thin, skinny child. So the black community is not invested in. No one pours into the black community. So as a result, many of your communities are malnourished and broken down and busted up and torn to pieces. And it's ironic because you've got millions and millions of people that look just like you and I, who are highly trained, highly skilled, fully capable, and hardworking, and doing amazing things for other people. You're doing an amazing thing. You're doing amazing things for Procter and Gamble. You're doing extraordinary things for Nike. You're over there kicking ass and taking names for H&R Block, but your block is got people shooting each other up and kids all getting on dope and all this other stuff. So I would just say at the end of the day, we have to sort of process these things and think about where you're putting that energy so that your energy is not wasted. I personally am not typically interested in doing anything that does not have a benefit for the people that I care about the most. Like the most important thing that I do with my day on a given day, honestly, is talking to you. That's literally the one thing I get up and I do every day consistently, no matter what. That and going to the gym. Those are, and why do I do that? Well, because going to the gym will keep me alive and keep me healthy, and I won't turn into a big bloated, elephant. And then two, talking to you means that I get a chance to share what's up here with you, and you will apply it. Hopefully, I hope you will apply it. I want you to be action oriented, and it's going to enhance and improve your economic condition and your economic awareness. Therefore, I'm doing my job. I'm carrying this baton. I'm passing it off to other people. I want somebody else to pick it up too. I'm not trying to run this race forever, and that's what matters for me. Because I thought clearly, like, where's the best place to place my energy? Because remember, I could be working on Wall Street. I could be at Goldman Sachs doing a bunch of work and not even talking to black people. I sent plenty of students to places like Goldman Sachs and I was at Syracuse. I could still be at Syracuse University or some other institution doing a bunch of work, writing research papers that nobody ever reads. And if my only thought process is, well, how am I going to get paid? Where am I going to get my paycheck? Then that would probably be what I'm doing. But generally speaking, when I started to sort of, think about life and imagine like what's the best use of my time on this earth because we're all going to die soon. I said, I kind of know a lot of stuff. Like I'm really good with this finance stuff. But if something happens, I get hit by a truck or I get shot in the head or I just die one day, all this is going to die with me. I put in all this work. I invested all this time, thousands of hours studying finance. I got to get this out of my brain. I got to make sure that this stuff is multiplied to as many people as possible so that if something happens to me, it's not going to be wasted, right? So I think that this is the kind of logic I think we should all have. I think that the number one thing that any black child should be trained to do is to help the black community. Period. That's it. I think that they should understand that you are going to be great. You're going to be extraordinary. You're going to be highly educated. You're going to be fully prepared. You're going to be wealthy. You're going to have all this power in the world. And the number one reason that you have this power is to make sure that black people that you care about are going to be better off than they were before. I think that is a fundamental principle. It's extremely important because here's the problem. We spend a lot of time being highly educated, but we don't spend a lot of time talking about why you want to be highly educated. See, the why is more important than the what and the how. The what and the how, like, okay, this is how you do math, this is how you do science, and also, okay, and this is what you want to study. You want to study nursing, and this is how you do it. That's nice, but there's nothing inspirational about that. There's nothing meaningful about that, really, in my opinion. It's beneficial, but it's not necessarily meaningful. But when you drill into the why, like why I'm doing it, the why becomes an internal power source that will supercharge you to get to whatever destination you're trying to get to. That's where your subconscious mind locks on to the why. And it just says, okay, this is why I'm doing this for mom. I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this so we can have some pride. I'm doing this for my people. When you got the why will make you grit your teeth and fight through any obstacle that runs in front of you. But if you only know the what and the how, then unfortunately you're just a robot. So grab onto the why. Figure out, like, ask yourself every day when you get up and you do stuff, why are you doing it? Who are you doing it for? If you can't answer those questions, then I encourage you, meditate. That's your consciousness exercise for today. Meditate and say, why am I doing this? And if you can't figure out why, I would honestly say that you should even question if you should be doing it at all. If you can't clearly see the why and the why does not make sense, the why and the who and all that stuff, if that doesn't make sense to you, then I say try not to do it anymore because you might be wasting your time. All right. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. God bless you. I hope you have a great day. And again, blackwealthmasterplan.com. That's where the $5 a day plan is. Also, the flashcards and stuff for kids and all that is at drboycebooks.com. So feel free to go to drboycebooks.com and you can get a copy of my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. Last but not least, if you want to be invited to our Money in the Morning financial consciousness training that we do every single day, 10 a.m. Eastern, just text, go to b1moneytips.com. There we go, b1moneytips.com.